Hi there everyone. So for today's video, I wanted to tell you a little story. It's going to be called A Year in the Life of a Can of Spinach. The events I'm speaking about may or may not have actually happened. Imagine this. It's February. Your neighbor calls and says, "Hey, I'm putting together a last-minute Super Bowl party. I want you to come. Is there any way you could bring some chips and dip?" And you think, "Yeah, I want to go. Sure. Well, what kind of dip am I going to bring?" "Oh, I know. I have spinach in my linen closet." And so you go to your linen closet and you get out a can of Thrive Life spinach. You open up the can of spinach and you make your spinach artichoke dip. Everybody at the Super Bowl party loves it. They ask you for the recipe. Well, then a couple of months go by and you find out your neighbor is having surgery and you really would like to bless her with a meal. And you remember, hey, she likes that chicken gnocchi soup from Olive Garden, but you're going to make it homemade for her. So you look up a recipe online and it calls for spinach and you think, I've got a can of spinach sitting in my linen closet. So you bring out the can of spinach, you make her some homemade gnocchi soup with about a cup of this spinach, and then you put the lid back on and put it back on the shelf. She loves the soup. And then summer rolls around and you get busy and you're traveling and there's vacation and you're here and there and you forget about the spinach. But that's okay because it stays good for like forever. So school rolls around and the moms invite you to a back to school bash breakfast and say, "Hey, can you bring a breakfast casserole?" And you say, "Of course. In fact, I'll put some spinach in it." And you pull out your can of spinach and make a breakfast casserole for your friends, and then you put it back on the shelf and forget about it again. And then Thanksgiving rolls around, you have family in from out of town. You decide, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set up a custom omelet station for everybody, and you pull out your trusty can of spinach and people can make their own omelets and customize it the way they want to with just a tablespoon or two of spinach in their omelet. Everybody loves it. And then you put it back on the shelf and it sits there for another month. And then Christmas morning comes and you would really like to make something special for your family and you think, I'm going to make a frittata for Christmas morning, and to make it red and green and beautiful, I'm going to do tomato dices and spinach. You see where I'm going with this? So you make a frittata for your family. They love it. It's beautiful and red and green. And then you put it back on your shelf. But this time you remember to bring it back out because January 1st rolls around and you get on a health kick and you put spinach in your smoothies for like a week. And then you put it back on the shelf. And you sort of forget about it. And then before you know it, it's February again, and your neighbor calls and says, "Hey, I'm having another Super Bowl party. Can you bring that fantastic dip you brought last year?" And you think, "Yeah, I can. Because it's good for an entire year after I open it." A year in the life of a humble can of spinach. But I'm telling you, this is the kind of thing you can do with Thrive Life food. So if you are interested in purchasing from my website, I'll leave the link in the video description below. Well, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. And as always, keep thriving.